Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's session. We're just going to wait for another 30 seconds just to let everybody get logged in okay. Good afternoon, all. I hope everyone's having a lovely day. We're just going to wait another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get started. Welcome, welcome. Right, okay, I think we should get started. It's 1 minute past 2. Well, firstly, thank you ever so much for joining us today at this webinar with Just Group. Webinar is introducing the new Adviser Toolkit in Carebox. My name is Jacqueline Berry and I'm founder of My Care Consultant. Before we get started, I just wanted to take you through a little bit of housekeeping, the all-important housekeeping, just to sort of make you feel rest assured. We cannot see you or hear you. So if you're having a cup of coffee or perhaps fancying sort of an afternoon nap or something after a hard morning's work, don't worry, we cannot see you. So only the host will be videoed today. Also, this session is 30 minutes long, so we're going to do our best to stick to time. We've got 3 sections to today's session. Please feel free to leave any questions in the Q&A facility in Zoom, and we are going to be sticking around for another 10 minutes at the end of the session, and we're going to be answering questions live. So for anybody that has time to stay, please do stay with us. If you are Carebox members, welcome to today's session. We do have a lot of interesting new content that we want to share with you. If you're not a Carebox member, welcome, and please do take advantage of our 1 month free trial, which I'll explain in a little while as to how to access. Okay, so as I said, I'm Jacqueline Berry. I have to say, I've noticed we've got some of our members here today, so it's great to see that you've got some familiar faces today. I am founding director of My Care Consultant, and we're hosting today's session introducing the new Adviser Toolkit from My Care Consultant. Today we're going to be talking about My Care Consultant and how we help financial advisors that operate in the long-term care advice space, as well as your clients that are in need of care and their family members. For the benefit of those that haven't heard of My Care Consultant before, we're one of a group of specialists, often referred to as care navigators. I set the business up 5 years ago with the aim of making non-regulated care advice more accessible to members of the public, as well as offering technical and practical support to financial advisors. Our core service is to deliver non-regulated care advice to those in need of care, their family members, and their professional legal representatives. And we deliver this via a free 15-minute telephone consultation, followed by a further 2 optional fixed price services for those that require further support. As well as dealing direct with the public, we also have a care advice referral service for financial advisors, but we're not here to talk about that today. If anyone wants more information about how to refer a client to us, you'll find further details on our website, www.mycareconsultant.co.uk, and I'll be producing some contact details at the end of the session, so feel free to reach out to us. Also, My Care Consultant is a Solar affiliate. We're a dementia friend, and also we're an ambassador of Answers in Retirement Group. So basically this means we're responsible for delivering ongoing care insight and expertise on everything care related. We've also helped some of the industry's networks and service providers to establish care advice support services for their members to help advice firms meet the needs of clients in need of care and their family. Now, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts for today's session. Firstly, we have Tony Miles, MCC's Technical Director, who in a very short while will be taking over from me to give you a live demonstration of our brand new Adviser Toolkit. This has been 6 months in the making and is now live on Carebox. For those of you that don't know, Carebox is our online technical and practical support resource for financial advisors, delivering support resources about care, paying for care, and related later life matters. Hi Tony, welcome.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Welcome everybody. I hope you're all well.
Thanks, Tony. I'd also very much like to welcome Mr. Graham Duffy, Care Specialist at Just Group, and Just are sponsors of Carebox and are a leading provider of care insurance products, immediate and deferred needs annuities. Graham's going to be co-hosting today's session with Tony and I, and shortly I'm going to be handing over to Graham to deliver a short update regarding the support that's available through Just for advisors operating in the later life advice space, specifically care advice. Afternoon, Graham. Thanks for coming.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thanks, Graham. So, well, we're thrilled that you've joined us today's session. Firstly, before we get kicked off, I just wanted to highlight that this session's been separated into 3 sections. So I'm going to be providing a short update about Carebox, how you can get the most from it, and why all advisors, whether you offer care advice directly or you outsource that aspect of your business, can benefit from using Carebox. I'm then going to hand over to Tony for a sneak peek of our brand new Adviser Toolkit to show you what's in it and how it can help you to deliver a truly joined up care advice service. And then for those that can stick around, we are going to be hosting live questions with Graham Duffy for 10 minutes at the end. Okay, so before I get started with part 1, I thought our viewers would benefit from an update from Graham in respect of the support that's available for advisors in 2021 from Just. Graham, would you mind giving us a short update on the support that's available at Just, perhaps any product development and so on?
Okay, thanks, Jax. Yeah, first of all, just to say, those of you that are using Carebox, I won't take away from Tony and Jack's thunder, but you'll see today is a fantastic resource that you can basically find practically everything, and very up to date as well. So you can find anything you want about care. So it's really fantastic. And those of you that have already used it will know that. And I use it myself all the time now because it saves me spending hours searching around for stuff when I'm updating my own materials. So really, really good. So what we're doing is, well, first of all, just have a dedicated care team. So some of you may well know Tracy Funnell and Mike Harrison in our office. So we've got a couple of other girls, Charlotte and Zara, that also help out on the care side. And when I say a dedicated care team, not to take away from other providers, I'm sure provide a great service, but I'm not sure how much knowledge they've got about things like the actual care system. And Tracy and Mike certainly have got a good knowledge of everything. So it's not just about our product, which is the immediate care plan, it's about the whole care system. And certainly Tracy has helped a lot of advisors through their SOLA accreditation. So that help is always available. Obviously, Tracy is quite busy on all sorts of things. So if you do need to speak to her, just contact her office and she'll get back to you as soon as possible. So as I say, dedicated team. I don't think the other providers have got that. So that's hopefully a bit of a USP for us. We also provide our care academies. And this year, well, we were doing these face-to-face, obviously, in hotels. We've now set up an online version of this. We are going to be piloting those with a very small group of advisors next week, in actual fact. And we're going to see how that goes and get feedback from that small group of advisors. But we have got some dates booked in for 16th of March is session 1 and 18th of March session 2, because it's quite a long and quite a lot of content involved. Trying to do that online in one go is quite difficult. So we've broken them down into sort of 90-minute sessions, but it will give you a total of, like 3 hours of CPD. And then we'll be doing another 2 sessions, session 1 and 2, on the 23rd and the 25th of March, respectively. Those sessions will cover basically all aspects of the kind of care market. So starting off with looking at the size and the potential and why you should be in this market, the demographics and all that sort of stuff. We'll then look at some of those important factors like, the difference between the health and social care. So where the NHS interplay with social care through the local authority and the means testing, all of the assessments, all those kind of things. So if you're new to it, it can appear, quite daunting, but hopefully there is a lot of help out there with what we do, with what my care consultant do. And we'll hopefully, in as much as we can, be available to talk through things, because as I say, it can appear a bit daunting if you're new to it, and you might feel it's a bit, who do I speak to about this sort of stuff? And sometimes just running an idea or thought past somebody about proposals or recommendations can be really useful. And you'll hear more about how my care consultant can help you on that in a second. So we'll also be doing a round 3 later on in the year, which will be a lot around developing your care business once you feel confident and comfortable with being out there talking to clients and looking at ways to work with professional connections. And within that, we'll also be looking at what's involved in getting your solar accreditation. So all of that, and depending on how these go, because it is the online situation, no one actually knows at the moment when we're going to be out there live again doing face-to-face stuff. So the great thing about the not doing face-to-face, although it's not very good socially, it's actually good because I don't have to do any traveling. So I don't have to be on trains at 5 o'clock in the morning and things like that. So I can do probably as many of those kind of things as I want. So if they're stuck to sort of an hour to an hour and a half, that will be that will be great. So we'll do more of those depending on demand. And also perhaps for perhaps some of the larger sort of advisory firms, we'd probably look to do perhaps some bespoke sort of care academies for you if that's what you wanted, rather than joining in the sort of throng with all the rest of them. But that would depend on we have account managers for each of the different advisory firms. There'd have to be enough attendees involved in that. And when I say enough, you're looking at maybe 10, a dozen people would be enough to warrant that. And again, because I'm not traveling, I can do a lot more of that sort of stuff as well. So, and then I'm also doing a lot of webinars generally. So do have a look at the Solar Society of Later Life Advisors website, because I do quite a few regular sort of sessions through that source as well. So, and again, that's just generally on the whole care system, again, broken down, because it's online, broken down into bite-sized chunks that can be absorbed hopefully relatively easily. So it just keeps you up to date on everything, and as I say, in conjunction with what we do and with what my care consultant are doing, it will just give you that confidence to be out there and helping people. And that's the key thing to it. It's helping people, because I'm sure you're aware that the whole care system can be, for consumers, can be very scary. So it's really important that people get the good quality advice that they need in this area, and help protect those assets, etc., that they've worked so hard to build up throughout their lives. So that's really what we're all about. We'll do everything we can to help, as my care consultant will do. So onwards and upwards, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Graham. That was really interesting. I have to say, I do echo your points about not missing those early mornings, getting a sort of a train up to a session in Leeds or something in the pouring rain. I am looking forward to the next conference or something when we can all get together. So yeah, I do.
Being real people.
Yeah, real people, absolutely. Right, okay, before I hand over to Tony in a couple of minutes, I just wanted to provide a quick recap on what Carebox is itself, and why we built it essentially. So broadly speaking, Carebox is a secure website. It's a membership only website. It's owned and managed by my care consultant, and really importantly, the team at my care consultant have translated our detailed learnings of how the care systems operate with our qualifications, our experience of regulated advice, and years of working with financial advisors into accessible written and audio-based and video-based formats. And that's what Carebox holds. I think really importantly, there's a lot of information that can be found online that may be similar to some of the information in Carebox, but what we find is that most of it isn't written with financial advisors in mind. Potentially it might be inaccurate, out of date, or unreliable, and doesn't tend to provide a platform for advisors to ask supplementary questions or feedback to create sort of ideas for new content and so on. So that's why we built Carebox, and we built it because we had lots of advisors saying to us, we would really appreciate, a central space of information that's, contains the information we need to help clients in this area, that's up to date, reliable, and accurate, and importantly replenished on a regular basis. So in terms of the content in there, a lot of it's held in the library. So we've got key information sheets, comprehensive guides, which is they're ideal for structured CPD. We've also got summary sheets and checklists and lots of documents that you can use with clients directly, whether you're emailing them or using in a meeting when we're allowed to meet face to face again. And we sort of spent a lot of time making effort to make these documents consumer friendly, and it's all about saving you time really to help you help your clients when they're asking questions about care. Okay, so we've recently launched our brand new Adviser Toolkit, and it's basically been about 6 months in the making. This revised section, it provides a valuable business development support in form of resources and marketing support, and it's been designed for all types of advisors, from those that perhaps don't offer care advice directly, right the way through to solar specialists and care advice specialists that are perhaps advising clients much more regularly. So the idea is, whether you simply want to respond to ad hoc questions about care that clients are asking, right the way through to whether you're looking to maintain or grow your care advice business, our Adviser Toolkit supports all firms in helping you to deliver a joined up service. Okay, I'm just about to hand over to Tony, but before I do so, I just wanted to highlight two interactive aspects of the site. The first is our refer a client button. So if you have clients in need of care and you want to refer them to us for our free 15-minute call service, you can do this by clicking a button and entering a simple form on the homepage. The second is our LinkedIn group, just for Carebox members, and this is where we look to create debates. We welcome ideas and the sharing of thoughts and concerns in this area, and our team keeps a watching eye on this, so we look to input into conversations. Okay, I'm now going to head to Carebox, and I am going to hand over to Tony very shortly. Okay. Tony, can I ask you just to confirm that you're looking at the membership homepage on Carebox right now?
I am, yes.
Perfect. Okay, I'm hoping that all of our viewers are as well. Now, we're not here to talk about Carebox today, we're here to talk about the toolkit, but I just wanted to point out, for anybody that wants to learn more or to find out more about the content and the site, if you go onto the membership homepage once you've signed up, which you can do so via a free monthly trial, we have created a short video which you can find here on the homepage, which will tell you what's in the site and how to navigate around. Okay, that's more than enough from me. I am now going to hand over to the excellent Tony Miles to leave you in his capable hands to show you the toolkit. Over to you, Tony.
Well, thank you. I'm not so sure about the excellent, but that was very kind of you either way. Right, if you just bear with me a moment, I'm just trying to share my screen. Right, a little luck. I think I have done that. Let's just get rid of that. Right, Jacqueline, can you confirm to me that you're looking at the new Adviser Toolkit?
I am indeed.
Super. Okay, that's fantastic. I switched off my video, much to the delight of everybody, I hope. Right, so let's go. Right, so welcome everybody. As our regular users will know, towards the end of last year, we updated the Adviser Toolkit section. So I'm going to take you on a whistle-stop tour of it, its contents, how you might use it to the benefit of yourself and your clients or prospective clients. And the first thing to say is that we recognise our users, they vary greatly in terms of the extent to which they get involved in regular care advice, be that regulated paying for care advice or broader-based holistic care advice. And as a result, the first thing that we wanted to do was to create 4 main sections, and we call them resource packs within the toolkit as follows. And if I scroll down a bit, you'll begin to see the 4 resource packs. Pack 1, which is where my cursor is currently on, is for those advisors who don't actually give care advice. They might be, for example, wealth managers or those who restrict their services to particular markets, maybe mortgages. But still want to respond positively to any inquiries they get from clients. The second resource pack to the right of that is for those who want to start giving care advice. So they're looking for relevant support. For example, the kind of support that Just offers when it comes to care advice training or CF8 training. Whoops, where's everything disappeared? Sorry about that. Scrolling down a little bit to resource pack 3, that's for those who occasionally give long-term care advice. So those who are qualified, but perhaps concerned about the risks of dabbling in care due to its complexity and its changing nature. And then to the right, for those who actively give care advice, those who do so regularly or who are specialists, who have specialist qualifications such as the Society of Later Life Advice accreditation. And in each of these 4 packs, we have highlighted information and support that experience tells us will be of most use to that particular type of member. Now, in addition, if I scroll down, you will see that there are 6 areas of resource for all advisors, entitled Further Resources for All Advisors. So I'm just going to have a quick look at some of these. The first is FCA regulation and guidance. Now, this section holds material and links to material on regulation, including updates and changes relevant to later life advice from the FCA, including long-term care and equity release. And it also signposts sources of support to help firms develop relevant policies and systems. Information is published in date order, with the most recent developments shown at the top. So if you want to know what the regulator has been saying on later life issues and care, this is a one-stop shop, which will contain most, if not all, that you need. To the right, you will see that there is a section called vulnerability, and this section contains really extensive support material in respect of all aspects of vulnerability. And in a minute, I'll dive into this particular area so that you can have a look and see what I mean by extensive. To the right-hand side, where my cursor is currently hovering, we have this area called case studies. Now, this is really important, very useful to those who are regular users of CareBox. In it, we put case studies from the Ombudsman that we think contain really useful learnings or positioning, and case studies based on my care consultant's care navigation work, where it highlights, unfortunately, often the divergence between theory and practice when it comes to things like how local authorities apply assessments, NHS continuing healthcare, and the like. So we find that our users find those particularly useful. Moving on to the bottom left, CPD. As Jacqueline touched on, all our comprehensive guides sitting in the library are suitable for structured CPD, and each one has a supporting document that contains some suggested learning objectives and a 10-point Q&A so that you can actually record and demonstrate your learning on your CPD files. Of course, all the material on CareBox is available for unstructured CPD anyway. Moving to the right, you'll see marketing and business development. Now, this section contains a range of support materials to help you engage with clients. For example, we've pulled together a number of PowerPoint presentations with accompanying notes that can be rebranded and repurposed and used as the basis of client seminars, obviously subject to your own compliance sign-off processes. And then to the right, we have a section called Tools and Useful Links, and this contains pretty much what it says, but we've tried to find really useful and slightly different tools. For example, I don't know if any of you have heard of Health Talk. That particular tool or website actually contains numerous videos of people, both sufferers and medical experts, recounting their experiences of a huge variety of health conditions. And what it enables viewers to do is to really better understand the nature of specific illnesses that they may unfortunately have been diagnosed with, and clarifies the support that's available. And in essence, it's like sitting in a room with other people who've already been through an illness that you may be just been diagnosed with, and hearing them talk about what it was like. So it can be reassuring, it's realistic, and it's certainly informative. That's a really great resource, particularly for someone about to undertake a procedure that they're nervous about. And certainly if you have a client that you know of that's been diagnosed with a serious illness, and of course you as advisors are in a position to find out through your fact finding, I can't think of anything more helpful than sending them this link. It's really an excellent site. And interesting, in response to COVID-19, Healthcare Org team have created COVID-19 Talk, a sister site that collates and shares experience of those who sadly have contracted this awful virus. Okay, I said I would drop into the vulnerability section while I keep an eye on the time with one eye. So I'm now going to click on the picture above the word vulnerability, which I have just done. And into the vulnerability section you go. Now, the first thing you'll see is a reference to my care consultant in CareBox, supporting the work of a new financial vulnerability task force that was launched by the Personal Finance Society on Monday. And I'll talk further about this in a minute. Scrolling down, you'll come across where my cursor is hovering by, a number of headlines, and these are really the various categories under which or in which material is stored. If I actually scroll, so if you clicked on any one of those, you jump straight to the appropriate area, but I'm actually going to scroll them down manually so that you can see. So the first thing you'll come across is FCA material and their commentary on vulnerability. This gives you an immediate access to the 2 consultations that have happened recently, and also the FCA's website, which holds everything about treating customers, or vulnerable customers as they call them, fairly. And it includes every commentary and everything that they've ever done on vulnerability. Moving swiftly down, you'll see the Financial Vulnerability Task Force, a safe pair of hands that I talked about a minute ago. And this is a new independent representative group supported by the Personal Finance Society, and its ultimate purpose is really to promote greater understanding, behaviours and good practice when it comes to consumer vulnerability. But more important than that, it's about making consumers aware of the support they will get from financial advisors and why it's important to engage. The only thing I would say here is, if you're not aware of it, make a note of the website www.fvtaskforce.co.uk and go and have a look, and you can download a consumer guide. You can find all sorts of great information. Okay, moving down, we have a section on scams. That's a particular interest because it contains a lot of material that is from subject matter experts that you wouldn't normally come across. For example, the National Centre for Post-Qualifying Social Work and Professional Practice, Professor Keith Brown, that some of you may have heard about, real leading expert on things like financial scamming, things like fraud, safeguarding practices, all that kind of stuff. So lots of really useful information. Moving further down, you'll see our vulnerable persons policy that my care consultant produced. And this is really an attempt to help you translate all the stuff that's being talked about in the marketplace on vulnerability, particularly from the regulator, and translate it into a policy for your business. Moving further down, you've got various things like good practice and the excellent vulnerability training from Just. So there's an entry point into that. This is all part of the idea behind KBox, keeping everything accessible in one place so you know where to go. Moving further down, you'll see mental capacity. If anybody is bored enough to want to read all 200 or so pages of the Mental Capacity Act 2005 Code of Conduct, here it is, everything that's ever been written about it, the definitive document. And underneath that, various other documents like our own guide to dealing with the spectrum from natural cognitive aging to dementia. There's a diminished capacity contract form. If you don't know what that is, make yourself available a free trial and go and have a look, and various other documents. And I go on and I go on. And there, actually, I mentioned Professor Keith Brown. There he is talking about next of kin and how it doesn't really exist as a concept. You have access to all the offices of public guardian, courts of protection information, and you also have stuff about LPAs, for example, issues to be aware of when making an LPA, and a useful document that you can send to clients to demonstrate the importance of getting LPAs in place. Then underneath that, lots of information. Each one of these areas where my can't even remember what it's called now, pointer is hovering about abuse and coercion, a really important issue when it comes to vulnerability. So you can see there's an awful lot of information, and that's just in one tiny section of the Adviser Toolkit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into a resource pack, and I'm going to jump straight into resource pack 4, and that is for those advisors who regularly give long-term care advice. So I've clicked on where my cursor, that's the word I was looking for, is hovering, and here you are in resource pack 4. Now, the first thing that you'll see is there's a series of videos. Well, actually, the first thing you'll see is, are you in the right place? In other words, it qualifies the nature of the advisor for that particular resource pack. You'll see a series of videos. There's one from Jacqueline talking about the referral process. You'll see videos from practitioners, fellow advisors, about how they use CareBox and various other bits and pieces. And you'll see a video coming soon from Solar, as soon as we can track Tish Hanafan down. No, we have that in hand, but there's always stuff continually being added to. Underneath that, in each of the resource packs is a key guide. In simple terms, on the left, how MCC can help you. On the right, how Carebox can help you. And you'll find lots and lots of other articles and support documentation, all of which we know from experience. Advisors in that particular category, remember this one is category 4, those advisors who regularly do care would find particularly useful. And then, as I said, going down, various documentations, various resources to give to clients when dealing with a care need. So we have the care guide, we have various checklists, and various guides for carers. And then right at the bottom, as I mentioned, you'll find those 6 resources available for all advisors, wherever you are on the spectrum of giving care advice. So what I've managed to do in 14 minutes and 38 seconds is just take you literally into one small area of resources for all advisors and just one of the resource packs. There is a huge amount of information available in it, which clearly we don't have time in this particular webinar to deal with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to hand you back to Jacqueline. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Tony. That's very useful. I think I'm just going to try and share my screen again. Just conscious we literally have a minute left, so I just wanted to finish by saying for any Carebox members that are watching today, please don't forget to get your hands on the consumer guide to getting the care you need. Our Carebox members can download this for free and get up to 20 free hard copies through Carebox. So please do take advantage of that. This is a great guide to be able to give to clients in a way of kind of giving them some initial support without much effort from you when they first starting asking questions about care. And finally, for anybody that isn't using Carebox, please do access our 1-month free trial. You simply have to go into carebox.co.uk, careboxonline.co.uk, and you can sign up for 1 month just with your email address. Please do feedback, interact with us. If there's any content that perhaps you're looking for us to produce, we will do that. We're a small team and we can turn things around quite quickly. We've actually got a brand new consumer guide coming out very soon entitled Paying for Care, Important Things You and Your Family Should Know, off the back of one of our members who I think is actually tuned in today. So thanks, Adrian, for that. Okay, I'm just going to move into question time. We have got sort of 10 minutes allocated, so anybody that can stick with us for the next 10 minutes, please do. And we have had a few questions actually come in. So I think this one that's come in, I'd like to put this to you, Graham, if that's okay. Graham's going to join us again for questions. This is quite a relevant question right now, actually. The question is, why would anyone buy an INA, an immediate needs annuity, in the middle of the COVID crisis?
Well, who's asked that? Tony?
I can't reveal it because it's in the Q&A, which is private.
Well, actually, it is actually a very good question, because I remember going back to when it started, February, March last year. I thought, oh my God, when we all realised how bad it was, I thought that's really kind of stymied the who would buy a care annuity, especially as the initial issues, a lot of it was related in care homes, wasn't it? So everyone was obviously worried that mum or dad in their care home was going to die, unfortunately. So I thought that was, we wouldn't get any business at all. But what we did was we introduced a 12-month guarantee. So if you die as a result of COVID-related illness, you basically get all your money back. Now, we are going to deduct what we paid out to the care home, but so it's equivalent to getting back 100% if you die within 12 months of having purchased a policy. And that goes out for all. I think we actually introduced it in about May, but it was backdated. So if you bought a policy previous month, I think you were covered under the guarantee. So we started that off, and then I think L&G followed a few weeks later, so they've got it now as well. I'm not sure, not that I've heard, but I don't think Aviva have actually done it as yet. But so it's just ourselves and Aviva. So that would give you the comfort. I completely understand that with COVID, it's something. Why would you sort of shell out £100,000 or more if you think your mum or dad's going to pass away? So if it's COVID, It's 12-month guarantee, and then on ours, the built-in 6 months is also there for other, death as a result of other issues, etc. So the 6 months is 100% month 1, 50% months 2 and 3, and 25% months 4, 5, and 6. So that would, to me, the 12-month, not being able to lose anything basically in that first 12 months gives quite a lot of comfort, I think. And it has, we saw a big turn off, and when that was introduced, it came back up again. So we've done pretty well, I think, overall in the last few months. So.
Thanks, Graham. And I think I can say firsthand, because we deal with consumers every day on the other side of our business, and the extra layer of support that you're giving there with the INA has really gone quite a long way in giving people peace of mind. So I think that's great to see Just leading the way on that. Actually, just very quickly, we've had 2 questions, that one of which I'm going to answer. We've had a question about the CareBox subscription costs. Very good question. I should have highlighted this earlier. So you can sign up for a monthly or an annual membership. It's £14.99 per month, and you can cancel at any time, so that rolls over on a monthly basis. Or you might want to sign up on an annual basis, in which case it's £150 for a 12-month period. So if you sign up for that, you're saving just over 15%, as opposed to the monthly rate if you were just to do a rolling contract. We do also have group rates available for larger firms, and corporate rates available if it's a much bigger organisation. So more information is on the landing page, and we will send out a follow-up email just confirming how to access that. Graham, very quickly, there's a question again for you on the care academies, I think. The question is, how do I get onto the Just session in March? I think that was your care academy that you mentioned.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they've actually gone out, but if they haven't, they'll be going out. And if you kind of tick the box under the GDPR that you are happy to get communications from us, it will go out to the whole of the market, subject to that ticking the box. If not, have a look at our website in the next week or so, justadviser.com, and you will find the information on our website. If you can't find it, let me know. Just email me at graham.duffy@wearejust.co.uk, and I think you're going to distribute it anyway, aren't you? You guys at My Care Consultants. So
yeah, we'll send a follow-up communication, so we'll leave that importantly on there for all viewers.
Yeah. So one way or the other, that we'll get the information out, because we'll hopefully get it out through other sources as well. So
yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you. We do have another question. This is a good one. I'm gonna put this to you, Tony. This, I think, following on from the tour you've given on the Adviser Toolkit, the question is, you mentioned a couple of ways that advisors are using some of the CareBox documents. The Guide to Care is an obvious one, and I can see a lot of value in that. But could you give us some other practical examples of how businesses are really using and benefiting from the stuff in CareBox on a day-to-day basis, please?
Blimey, whoever typed that in must be exhausted. Right. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Absolutely no problem at all. I mean, it really is a case of, where do I start? Let me try and give you 3 examples. One that kind of relates to business development, one that relates to technical support, and one that relates to client support. Okay, when it comes to business development, one of the things you may have seen as I rushed through the presentation was a series of letters used to inform clients of the nature of the holistic care advice service you can offer, whether that be directly or via the use of My Care Consultants non-regulated advice services. And the importance of this is that it's a real shame, but we often come across clients who have advisors. They know, but they assume that the advisor is only really involved in the paying for care bit. They don't assume that the advisor can offer any service at all at the front end, i.e. the non-regulated aspects. So they don't naturally gravitate towards their advisor, even though their advisor may be in a brilliant position to help. So what we've done is we've created a series of letters which can go out to clients to help them explain the nature of their holistic service, whether that be all done in-house or not. And we found that these are very well received. So that's an example of business development support, and there's an awful lot more I could talk about that. When it comes to material to give to clients, for example. I think I would mention the two checklists that we have. We have two checklists. One, if someone is going into a care home or needing to source a care home. The other is someone that's going to source or needs to source domiciliary care. And what we've done is we hope is create the most comprehensive checklist that exists. And in fact, we have recently just updated them with a load of really important COVID type questions. For example, is the care home participating in the SAFE initiative, which if you haven't heard of, stands for Symptoms Assessment for Everyone, and it makes BLIC. Infection control information the families need when they're searching for a care home. So those are really important, and we put a lot of effort to try and create those. And of course, you can give those to clients, and you can give them to family members of clients. And then lastly, technical support. A little while ago, we produced a key information sheet on property protection trusts that's gone down particularly well. And advisors are often using these, rather sadly actually, to send to their clients where their clients have been misinformed on the impact of property protection trusts, particularly when how it liaises with equity release. And the client is saying, yes, but I spoke to someone and they said X. And they need something, a document, a definitive document to say, well, read that, because that will explain to you why what you're being told by a third party is not actually accurate. So those are just three examples, and there are, thousands of others within CareBox. Hope that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. I think that's a really good overview. I think we've got 30 seconds left. There's a quick question. Graham, I'm going to fire this at you. If you can answer this in 30 seconds, that's a challenge, actually. Really relevant topical question. Do you think the government will come up with a satisfactory solution to the social care problem?
No. they've had 30 years. They've had 30 years to do it. No, seriously, they are. One of the things they're trying to achieve is this cross-party consensus, which I think is really important, because whatever one party comes up with, the other, unless they've agreed to it, the other parties always just automatically criticize it, no matter how good it is. And that's why nothing ever gets done. And that's what's happened literally over the last 30 years, well, 25 years, whatever it is. It's certainly a long, long time. So it's a really difficult thing to overcome, but it has to be done. Obviously, COVID has not helped at all. But, we've had green papers that have been kicked into the long grass. It's just crazy. It's just gone on too long now, and something really does need to be done. I know I've been saying that for the last 20 years, but this time it really does. So I would hope they're looking at all different options, the insurance options, but it's how it's how do you raise the money to cover all of these things. So I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but it really does need to be addressed.
Yeah. And do you think we'll see much in the next few months? I know they keep saying it's coming, but what's your view on that?
You better ask Boris. I just don't know. I keep hearing snippets about things that are going on, but I just think until they get through this COVID issue and we're kind of out the other side of that, I can't see them actually being able to knuckle down and get anything done. Yeah. And as I say, they've got to have this cross-party agreement, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
That's going to prove difficult in itself.
Absolutely. No, something positive to end on. I was tuning into a Langbussen webinar this morning, and there was a director from HC1 care home chain, and he mentioned that that most of the residents now have received their vaccinations for COVID, and over 60% of the workers had as well. So what that means is that we are looking at hospital admission rates coming down, and hopefully by spring things will look a lot brighter, and care homes could actually be one of the safest places to be as well. So anyway, watch this space, and thank you so much, everybody.
Just on that, remember the Conservatives' red line was no one will have to sell their home to fund their care. Well, what does that mean? I think it's all a bit smoke and mirrors. And there'll be an extended deferred payment agreement of some kind.
And Graham, I think the critical missing part of that sentence was while they're alive.
While they're alive, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, thank you ever so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for staying with us for the questions as well. I can see most of you did. Thank you so much, Graham, for joining us today.
Okay, no problem.
Tony, thanks ever so much for excellent overview of our toolkit. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Pleasure,
no problem at all. Sorry, it was a bit rushed.
No, I think it was great. And thank you ever so much, everybody, for tuning in. We will send out a follow-up communication with all of the information needed. And if any questions weren't asked today, I will be following up personally with you. Thanks for tuning in. Take care and stay well.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.